Okay, testing audio, making sure that the microphone is sounding good and that Foundry is working as intended. It slightly isn't, but that's kind of my fault. So let me go in and fix that really quick. Now we go to interact, click that, go down, bada bing. All right, good. We're sounding clear. Here in a little bit, you guys should be able to hear the music. And you guys should be able to see the game board. Now if I... Yes, good. As I move, the game moves. It's all working so far perfectly. It's ambient music, so it's going to slowly build up. It's not going to be crazy big. Let me know if I do need to turn it down, because the music is a wee faint. No worries. I'll bump it up to about 11. It's not supposed to be too overpowering. It's supposed to be fairly, like, mood setting more than anything. Alright, perfect. If we have to change things, just let me know. I will alter them as needed. We got the alerts. We got everything going. So, this is going to be a little bit bare for now. I'm going to try to fill up the screen in the future. I might actually... You know what I can do? Now that I'm thinking about it. Hold on. Because, like, I've been trying to work with making this very, very appealing. But what I think I might do here... We're going to make me a wee bit bigger. Throw me over to the side. And then we're going to take this and this. We're going to make that a little bit bigger. We're going to make this a little bit bigger. And then we're going to make this be better formatted to that. Because otherwise, there's, like, a lot of dead space. And I actually kind of like the idea of it, like, moving a little bit with it. So now we're going to move this a little bit. All right. I think we're fully ready to properly begin this little adventure of ours. Hello, my fellow adventurers, and welcome. I am Basil Strikes, a PNG tuber who keeps having their body float up in the air when that looks very wrong. Like, my lower half is not to be seen by anyone. You shouldn't be able to see that negative space. Think of what the tweeters might say. They might call me a hooer. But welcome. This is going to be a very experimental kind of stream, but one that I'm very confident I'll be able to pull off. This is for those who might be stumbling in out of the blue, just thinking like, what is Vtuber and chat GM at Ttrpg? What does that mean? Well, in case you haven't seen the shorts and you haven't seen some of my videos talking about this stuff, there is a book called The Mythic GM Emulator, 2nd edition specifically, which allows you... That's your anti-feed... It's just my anti-goon protection software. It's my anti-goon ward spell. I cast anti-goon! That's great. That's a fantastic... Dark, I appreciate you being here. You have been one of my... No. This is... So here's the fun of this. If you've never really been at a tabletop RPG table... Let me adjust my mic a little bit. Non-sequiturs and interruptions are totally fine. That's half the fun. That's a little bit of what I want to, like, simulate and explore without, like, a million people having to run a TTRPG at the same time. So, by all means, non-sequiturs are always fun. Worst case scenario, I will choose streamer privilege to ignore you to keep things moving on. It'll be a combination of streamer privilege and game master privilege, honestly. But the Mythic GM Emulator is a fantastic book that allows you to run pretty much any tabletop RPG that you personally like and run it in a solo experience. Coming up with adventures on the fly, having certain aspects of the game be very hands-off for you to have to prepare. However, the awesome people behind that book have continued to make zines, or zines, I don't really know which one it's pronounced, I keep forgetting which one it is every so often. But they created these sort of editions as separate little, like, very affordable add-ons. Zine, it is pronounced zine. Short for... See, that's what I thought. But then, like, the other part of me is like, but it's spelt Z-I-N-E. Would that maybe be Zine? And, like, that's, like, a weird, like, oh, you still kind of know what it is. But, whatever. Oh, no. Ah, my rig's kind of broken. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, never mind. I thought my rig was broken, but I forgot I changed my numbers. Never mind, I'm good. Too many caps, automatic. Oh. That is not necessary. That is super weird. I'm gonna have to mess with that, actually. Dark, apologies on that. Let's... Okay, I need to fix that rather immediately. When I got a Stream Deck, you can put the 802 plugin in the doohickey. Yeah. I will try to. Budgeting is the biggest problem. Dark, give me a second. I'm gonna try to go into Stream Elements really quick and fix that, because you did not need to be timed out for that. I think Stream Elements is not... But you know what? This is kind of to be expected, because a lot of, here we go. Chatbot. Settings. That's up and running. Messages are received. Okay, I want to... There we go. Okay, yeah, we're undoing the bot, because I'm going to have to fix that later. Oh! Thank you for the follow! Ah, who was that? Is this what happens when you left an AI moderator? Yeah, no, I mean, like, this is a great example of, like, don't fucking trust that shit. You're absolutely not wrong. In all honesty, I forgot it was on. I'm coming back to streaming after super, super long. So that is, absolutely my fault. So that's officially turned off now, so Stream Elements shouldn't be doing that absolutely anymore. Once more to reiterate, in case Dark can't get to their screen, buddy, that you did nothing wrong. The chat bot is a little oversensitive. I forgot it was even on. You are totally fine. I apologize that those messages got deleted. Whenever you're able to come back to us, feel free. You have full permission to yell at me. That was not supposed to happen. Okay, let me... Thank you for that follow. I need... Oh my god, I'm so underprepared. I focus so hard on being prepared for the actual streaming aspect that I'm realizing I was heavily underprepared for absolutely every other aspect of the stream. I am Scuff. Underprepared. All right, let me double check something. Come on. Here we go. Nope, that's... Well, hold on. It's close. Okay, here we are. Here we are. Okay, it was Dippy, and it was Well of Havoc. Thank you. Thank you, friend. I see you. All right. Oh my god, there's so many things that are not working the way they should, but you know what? That's okay, because we got a show to fucking do. Anywho's-its. Well, by the way, Dark, it's at 300 seconds, so that's like, what? 5 minutes, so, again, I genuinely feel bad. That was not supposed to happen. But yeah, Tabletop RPGs, GM Emulator, they have an additional aspect of their book where you can use a lot of the rules to run a game as a GM and simulate the players. I asked a handful of my friends, water break, who have played tabletop RPGs with me before, and we were unable... deleted something I don't agree with, so win went perfect. The bot technically got a win. Our game had to come to an end simply due to just a scheduling conflict. Our GM was not able to continue with us. So I asked my wife, my friend Ellie, welcome to the stream, Ellie, and my friend, if not little brother, Cade, if we would be okay if I took our characters and put them in their own little side adventure. And so far, also me testing out Scuff, that's me. Alright, Doc. Listen here, bud. We got another one of these Scuff streams. We need you to go in, and we need you to find all the plot holes and potholes and all the holes, especially the Vtuber holes, if you know what I'm saying. Get in there and plug them holes. What we're gonna do today is I'm gonna get you guys a little caught up on the adventure that you've missed so far. And then afterwards, we're going to go ahead and continue where we've left off. The approach that I want to take is that I generally know where the story is going to go. But much like any of my tables that I run with other people, there's a lot of aspects of the game that I have not thought of, and I have not prepared for, and that's the fun of tabletop RPGs. And one of those factors is now not only rolling dice to see what the characters will do, but also to see what you in chat might do. Because if you guys look in your little points area, I have called them fate points, and at different tiers you are able to spend channel points by watching the stream to add different little intrusions and such. I think I still have to work out some of the price points on those intrusions. So this is going to be a bit of like a hardcore stress test of the system. So I will not be upset if it turns out, oh no, I need to slightly adjust for this. But yeah, you guys are able to actively interact and mess with the game as I run it. I can reject what you've posted. It can happen. But if anyone who's been at my tables can vouch that I'm generally very open to ideas, and at the very least, I'm less likely to say no, and more likely to say, okay, but, or okay, however, like twisting it in a way that I think fits the story better. Banked some point. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, anyone who's been around my streams for a while, you will absolutely have a lot of points banked, and you will be able to see a lot of the insanity that's going to get to happen with this. But without further ado, let me introduce you guys to our cast. One of the artworks of a certain character, I'm going to grab their Discord name. They've given me permission to advertise them this way, by the way. They're also on Reddit, and I don't quite remember what social media they said they prefer to use, but, like, I am more... Here we go. So they go by Jegsu. Jegsuuu. I'll put that in the chat. If you guys look them up on Reddit, you will find a... Hold on, I fucked that up. You will find an artist who, for really, really, like, I'm talking, like, if you're like me and you're a broke bitch who's, like, living paycheck to paycheck comfortably and you can't really, like, justify hundreds of dollars on artwork, but you don't want to give in to the AI slot machine, this person does great art for very affordable prices so that you can have at least a little bit of something on there. I'm so glad my wife brought me water. So, meanwhile, the other artwork that you will see with these characters has been done by my wife. They go by Cherry Coke Royal and I think Mothball on Blue Sky. But first, I'm going to show you Wander Stell. He is my favorite little Blorbo. He has had many iterations throughout the years of me playing and running tabletop RPGs. He is a Hellborn. Here, I'll actually read off what his character sheet is, because I'll go into a little bit about the Cypher system here in a little bit. But, to give you a taste, he is an honorable Hellborn Twin Fang, or dual sword wielder, who moves like the wind. He's a speedy boy. He's fast. He comes from an adventuring guild family who have a long lineage of heroes, pirates, rebellions. He is the walking protagonist. However, he's basically trying to... we all of know see that changes over time. We call that character development. He is very much a character heavily inspired by characters like Luffy from One Piece. The big thing with Wander is that he's more obviously socially minded. He's more obviously, like, aware of his surroundings rather than being, like, a gag character who, like, you know... He is crouching tiger, hidden dumb, or crouching dumbass, hidden tiger, or whatever that phrase that overly sarcastic coined, or at least I feel like they made it popular. But he's more socially adept, and this is primarily because his direct parents are a bard and a rogue. So him being a fighter raised by thieves and cutthroats, I think absolutely fits. By the way, ad break in 5 minutes. That will give me time to scarf down some food and drink a little bit more water. But he started this adventure basically after being trained for a while with his family, getting the ropes and getting his basics. He went to the coastal town of Mountainfoot and started his own adventure, as it is per his family's tradition to let those who take on the Oath of the Wanderer, I'll elaborate on that later, to just go out on their own, try to strike out on their own. Hi, Barnaby. It's my puppy. Did you just eat? Did you just get feds? Good boy. They got feds, they got walks, they're living the life. So he basically just wants to be like the rest of his family. He wants to go out, do some good, and kick some ass. He's not as smart, not as talented magically, or in a lot of ways, as his siblings and his overall adventure family. But what he lacks in pure talent, he makes up in raw determination, which I hope to funly explore with you guys in the future. So far, Wander has helped take out a giant water crab monster, face-tanked an explosion of fire on a ship, and helped fight an undead shark, and most recently stopped a demi-lich, or not a demi-lich, but like a lesser lich, like a little bitch lich. We're gonna call him a bitch lich. And is now continuing to roam the area of these different characters about. Next, we have the first of my wife's artwork and my wife's character. Sari. She is a sea elf. Her character sentence is a chaotic, intelligent mage who casts spells. The best way that I like to describe Sari is that she is pure, chaotic gremlin sister energy. If anyone is going to either start conflict or start an interaction with anyone, it's gonna be a combination of Wander and Sari doing something to someone who deserves it, or just being complete, socially, slightly inept extroverts and getting into everyone's business. Sari is a very bubbly, very sweet, kind of a bit of an airhead. If I remember correctly, the term that my wife will sometimes use is she can have bimbo tendencies. However, she's exceedingly intelligent and knows how to cast magic like a bouse. Kill me if I ever do that again. That was... No. I absolutely regret doing that. Never again. She is very much the support damage type. More based on buffing and crowd control when it comes to... I cast oops. Yeah, air quote on the oops, like, oops! Like, I totally didn't mean to do that. Right now in the campaign, we have learned that Sari has a bit of a bounty on her head, and we haven't really explored or had a chance to explore further, as the other characters recognize that the bounty that are like the hunters that were after her were absolute freaking creeps. So, yeah, we're not too believing any of those accusations. Meanwhile, she has been instrumental to fighting that same water crab, the same undead shark. She has solved several parts of the mystery that is the undead island we are going to, having discovered exactly what ritual is going to be necessary to appease an angry sea god, so that they fuck off and stop trying to ruin everyone's day. She is very much the bookish type of intellect, but she is very investigative in that sense. And save for the plot taking a little bit of a hold for her character, she's really just kind of been in the back and been exceedingly helpful and causing lots of chaos. But with that, we've got 15 seconds for the ad break to start. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys in a little starting soon setup, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, we should be good to go with that, given that the ads are done. Let me mess with Foundry a little bit. I did have enough time to scarf down a little bit more food. So now that we have had introduced Sorry to all of you, now we're going to introduce Rat. Rat is a inquisitive, kind cleric who consorts with the dead. Yes, everyone, he is a cleric who does necromancy. Cypher is just fun and crazy like that. The best way to describe Rat is that he is a very childlike mentality when it comes to morality and speech patterns. Yet he has these moments of being able to break through whatever barrier fogs his mind and is just an insanely intelligent, scientific mind. He has had multiple reasons explored in the past over what caused this sort of, like, breaking of his psyche. We've yet to fully explore that area at the moment. Right now, all Rat cares about is trying to help and protect certain friends and allies, or those of people in need. He is essentially a doctor who wants to always help. The analogy I always like to say is that Rat is Tony Chopper if Chopper just had, like, everything bad, and just everything awful happened to him. And if you know anything about Tony Chopper, you already know that, like, that poor guy, he does not... Man... Rat has been instrumental in keeping a lot of people alive, including healing and empowering several crew on a Navy vessel that helped us take on a Kraken. He has banished and caused undead to run away in fear several times, though it does take a little bit of a wane on him, as it is difficult for him to do consistently. And he has made a silent vow to himself to assist in an NPC's brother's struggle with a immune deficiency that is slowly killing them, believing that he can find some kind of way to, if not cure, but alleviate the stress and elongate his life. And then last but certainly not least, we have Jessie. Jessie is a very fun character in that, for all intents and purposes, she's sort of like the backstage, the director and like the choreographer. So many things going on with what Jessie has done. If Wander and Sari are like the more direct face of the group, Jessie is kind of like the wrangler, sort of like the judge, keeping everything in focused. Healer Vivi and FF9, not a bad comparison. Jessie is not going to be the first one to talk, and most of the time she's actually going to want to stay in the shadows, but she's very good at navigating a situation. She's very good at being able to read the room and read people, and signal to those who are more obviously in the chairs directly speaking, and letting them know how they might want to interact and react. Otherwise, when Jessie is not very covertly moving the pieces of the chessboard, you know, with consent, not just manipulating people, she is very much the stabby, roguish type, using her background as an acrobat to help her climb, dodge, dip, and dive. She is very much the kind of attacking support type, where if Wander is sort of a blusterous, speedy tank, Jessie is very much the damage dealer who comes in, hits you once, but does so much damage because you just could not have been prepared for what they had. There's a lot that has happened in this story up to this point. There are a lot of characters I could introduce. And I was working on a summary, but in truth, I will say this. The adventure started with the crew being able to fight off a large sea spider, working together to strike it down and successfully saving everyone from the docks who hadn't already been snatched up by the creature's might. Afterwards, they met several important individuals, including the mayor and a noble of the town, learning of the goddess Elverath, who was a very violent sea goddess and is the one being blamed for a lot of the town's problems, with several sea creatures storming the coasts and storms raging through the seas. The group eventually found their way to Oscar. No, actually, Oscar is the butler. Sorry, let me get the Duke's name. La-di-da-di-da. Alright, I'm gonna look through the book. I do have the actual journal in front of me as well, which helps out a lot. You guys will find... Here we go. Duke Heinrich! I will give you guys a taste of what this guy looks like. Let me add a quick screen to this shot, because I don't mind display capturing when needed. So let me give you guys a little tasty taste. Ah, it's on that screen. Okay, okay, I see what's going on here. I see what's going on, yeah. But here is Duke Heinrich. And we had also spoken with... Where are you, Mayor? Mayor Mardusk. As between the two of them, we had realized the next step on the adventure was to track down a kraken, get its skull, grind the skull into dust, and then use that dust when we came to the island, and using that in a ritual to appease this evil goddess. The problem that very quickly has arisen at this point is that there's a lot of things that don't want us to do that. After being accosted by the bounty hunters who personally have a grudge against Sorry, and don't worry, you guys will get a chance to meet them in the future, we went about our way to climb here, running into the ghost of a woman whose lover left them for dead by accident, being attacked by a large undead dragon. We fought an undead shark, and we were able to also survive a massive whirlpool. After finally managing to make our way onto the island and stopping what we now know is one of the heads of this whole little debacle, excuse me, Thanatos, we were then whisked away into a hideout by Nor von Laun. I do not have art for them, unfortunately. Nor is very much the lover of the spirit that we were helping them with. We were able to give that ghost a chance to pass on with very little problems. And in doing so, we also set ourselves up to get Nor's assistance, since they've been on the island for a little bit now, and we kind of need all the help we can get when it comes to making sure that we don't get just absolutely busted and lost in the location. As we do, and as we come to the actual session where I get to show off to you all what is going to happen, we come to today's session where everyone makes their way to the hideout. Last time, we had been able to discover that Nor found this hideout and made some allies who are currently not here. The allies are good people, from what Nor is telling us. She says that essentially ever since she got trapped on the island, they have been her main source of company, describing them as a fellowship of paladins who basically hunt down the undead and try to save as many people as they can. It is their job to protect people who come onto the island, whether by choice or by accident. However, these Forsworn have not arrived at this time, leaving Wander, Sari, Rat, and Jesse to get comfortable, getting ready to see what they can do. Now, to give you guys an idea of one more thing before we start the game proper, because I plan on doing this for a few hours, we're going to be using the Cypher system, specifically the newer rules for the system. And the reason we're doing that is because, one, I really like Cypher. It's very open-ended. It allows me to come up with a lot of fun stuff on the fly without being broken. And the new rules fix a lot of things I personally had qualms with. I am looking forward to showing off what all of this is going to be, but for the simplest case of it, unlike something like D&D and Pathfinder, where it's, I guess it's a 15 you have to roll, and then you roll your d20 and add up all your dice, that's not how this works in Cypher. Instead, let's say I tell Wander, you have to make a level 4 athletics or a strength task to be able to bust down the door. Well, Wander has training in athletics, so that lowers it down to a level 3. Well, now, Wander also has quite a few might points, and can spend a level of effort, and thus take 3 points off of his might, making the level now a 2. So after that, he rolls his athletics. And in this case, that's a terrible waste of a natural 20. In this case, he gets a natural 20. Now, you'll notice, you actually can't notice. Let me see if I can fix that. I might not be able to. Let me see here. Oh, nope, Let me... Pop out... There it is, I found it. Alright, now is it going to let you see the rest of the log? No, it's not going to. You know what? Why won't it? More scuff, more scuff. Show combat. Expanding chat log. There we go, okay. There we are, now you guys can see it. Hooray, I fixed it. But, so in this scenario, Wander gets a natural 20. Now, as you can see, the difficulty dropped to a 2. A level 2. What you do is, once the difficulty has been decided, you then multiply that number by 3. And that becomes the number that someone has to roll on a d20 to successfully do the thing. So it started at level 4, a 12, and got lowered to a level 2, a 6, giving Wander a lot of wiggle room to succeed. In comparison to something like D&D, where even at low levels, you might roll a d20 and only get a +1, and not have a lot of gradient for success when trying to beat a 15 on a d20. Or Pathfinder, where you're more inclined just to do the stuff you're good at and leave the things you're not good at to everybody else. In Cypher, everything's game. You're more than happy to use what you're specialized in, but it's just as viable for you to do what your character might not be great at, but can still do. With that, everyone is going to go ahead and take a rest. They've been beaten up, they've been fighting quite a lot, and they need time to relax. Wander is the most beat up currently, but that's to be expected. He's the frontliner. He regularly tries to help out and do a little bit of assistance. Rat is also a little bit dinged from the storm fight that they had had before, as is Jesse, though Sari is generally doing okay from the last fight, not being too heavily affected and being able to resist much of the Necromancer's water and electricity-based magics. At this end, the group is going to spend a full 10 hours resting, since they've been from the jump. When they got to this island, they got accosted by a giant undead elder dragon, and then immediately went into camp mode. This is time for them to relax and get a lot of their rejuvenation back. And because of that, we're going to go ahead and introduce whether or not the scene changes. Now, you're not going to see a lot of the GM intrusion and the GM emulator stuff, because I have a separate program for that. But don't worry, I'm Scout's honoring. I'm not going to lie about what happens. With that said, we need to roll if the scene is going to alter. Ah, there it is. I'm still getting kind of used to this. So we are going to check the scene. The scene is going to be interrupted, and it is going to be a PC negative, so something bad is about to happen to the group. An object is added to the scene. Oh, no. Okay. So, reduce or remove an activity. I think I know exactly what's going to happen here. As everyone is resting and positioning themselves to get relaxed, I'm going to say that they are able to get their stat pools back and get, they're actually able to get their wounds back, but they're not able to get their stat pools back. So they're coming into this half-cocked with some resources absolutely spent. And because of that, the people that are accosting them are going to be the Forsworn. If you recognize the art, it's from Pointy Hat. If you watch that guy's channel, you might already know a spoiler of what I'm doing. It's okay. The players don't know yet. But I will say that the Forsworn will find them and position themselves essentially to sort of like surround the crew. I'm very curious. Where is Nor in all this? Is she around? She is. Okay. 37, so she definitely is. Chat, is there a question you'd like to ask Fate to add a little bit of details to this? We know that Nor is around. We know that she's probably safe. I'm back in the fucking building again! But yeah, no points are necessary for this first one, y'all. If you want to go ahead and suggest a question you would like to ask the dice, I will roll them in my GM emulator, tell you what the number is, then tell you what the result of that is. I have something in mind. Also, while people are typing their questions, for those of you who might be interested, yes, this is partially how I run my tabletop RPGs. I always have a good A and E expectation. Like, I know what happens at A, and I know what's going to happen at E. There's a couple of sprinklings at C and D, but otherwise, I leave it a little open. I like to see where the dice may lead us, even in the middle of a game. Ready to suggest anything? My brain needs some time to start up. Stuck on Vista. Upgrade. You gotta upgrade, my dude. Is the enemy's goal to kill or to capture? My question for the emulator. I very much know what I think that is going to be. So is the enemy's goal to kill? I think it's very unlikely they're going to kill. And sure enough, a 60, which just means that they are absolutely here to capture. They have done so immensely, and I think the reason why is because this is their hideout. Where is... I'd like to know what the hell Nor is doing. Trust and health. Nor's off in the side, in a back room, and she's, like, trying to, like, get a little bit of medicine, get a little bit of assistant materials to help everyone heal up from their wounds. Because of that, I imagine that Nor will come in. The way that I like to think of how Nor looks is dark skin, very cutly short hair, due to being on the sea and being sort of like, not just like a warrior and a sailor, but this sort of stuck professional, like needing to have a very particular look to their attire, and because of that, longer hair is not as much of something they choose to work with. They like to be very clean cut, they like to be very simple, as to, in one hand, be underestimated, on the other hand, not draw too much attention so that they can get people of higher crust to talk to them and not feel intimidated. You know, just learning how to, like, talk to rich people. As she rounds the corner and sees these women, all pointing glaives, swords, axes, at the allies, I imagine Nor comes into the room. No, wait, they're new arrivals. I brought them here. I'm sorry. They helped me out of a jam. They met Thanatos. They fought Thanatos, and they won. And with that, you'll watch as the Forsworn will remove their weapons from them and help them up. At this point, they will introduce themselves. First, Sister Malagros, the commanding officer of the Forsworn. Next, third in command, but only in matters of battle, is Kaya, former pirate sea captain, found Forsworn due to their own reasons. The youngest member of the Forsworn and damn near devout follower and approach to Sister Malagros, Leona. A former noble turned paladin due to tragedy, Ursula. And what can best be described as a citizen, a farmer, someone who has no real reason, no noble calling to be here, and yet proved themselves and rose to the ranks of a Forsworn, Zoa. Or Zoe, I can't remember, but I've been calling him Zoa. With the introductions out of the way and everything kind of more carefully prescribed, the Forsworn will position themselves accordingly, and the new allies will kind of move themselves into a more opportune position. Or are they glad they happened to break into the right hideout? This is their hideout. This is the Forsworn's hideout, and they didn't realize that these people were here, and Nor clearly didn't, like, prep them in enough time. I want to see, is anyone in the group going to... No, you know, these guys are smart. In a second, so I hope you enjoy your game. Thank you for being here, Ellie. I appreciate you checking in. I will happily let you know what happens and how cool stuff Jesse does in the meantime. Bye! None of the group is going to want to try to retaliate. They understand that they're not in a position to fight, so they sort of just kind of take all this in. Malagros is absolutely going to ask them how they got here and what their purpose is. My question, are any of these characters going to lie? I think it's a 50-50. They don't know who these people are, and while they kind of trust Nor, they're also probably all a little bit bitter about having swords pointed at them, so... yes, they are gonna slightly lie. I think Jesse is going to take the lead on this. Jesse, are you going to horrendously lie, or are you only going to just give the snippets of information? I think Jesse is going to give snippets. I think it's very likely. No! A 92 on a percentile. So, she's going to bold-face lie to these people. Okay. Interesting, interesting. Alright. That's gonna be a level 8 attempt to lie, though. Ugh, that's a big ask. That's a big ask. Alright, let's see if you can do it, Jesse. You don't have deception as a skill right now. You took, stealth earlier. Oh, you know what? Actually, sorry, she would have deception. She wouldn't really have history. That's not really as useful of a skill. Alright, so deception would lower it to a level 7. She's got 2 levels of effort. So that's going to be 5 points minus her edge. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Lowers the difficulty by 2 levels. And she's got deception. She needs to beat a 15. Oh my... Okay, I wasn't paying attention to how it looked for you guys, but on my end, it was... Guys, it was, like, leaning on a 1. Oh, man. Okay. So, Jesse manages to lie. I'm thinking Jesse kind of just simply says, we were told of this island and some potential treasures that could be here. Yeah, you saw that too? Okay, good. We were told that there were treasures here, and we're all a bit on the broke side. We're trying to make our fortune, test our might, and we clearly got way ahead of ourselves. Because this is a minor effect, I'm going to say that Jesse's going to be very smart. You know what? Actually, before I do, Jesse, are you going to throw in a little tidbit about, oh, our ship is no longer here? In truth, the ship is on the coast. Would Jesse rather say that? Oh, what minor effect do you want to add to this, Jesse? There's so many options. Let's let the GM emulator help with this. Let's let the player emulator help with this. What is... ceaselessly important, lacking wildly, so... ceaselessly important. So she's gonna lie about something being ceaselessly important. What could that mean? Chat, feel free to jump into this one. What is something that she would want to lie about and add on to this? It would be ceaselessly important. They're trying not to give away their true purpose here as much. Ah, I think I've got something. I actually think I got something. Jesse could mention that they were actually hired by... because I don't think they want to mention the mayor, but they will mention the nearby navy. And because of that, they'll probably throw around the admiral's name that they got to meet earlier. Yeah, Admiral Greysail. An older gentleman, half-elf, who helped in getting the skull of the Kraken. Okay. So they'll throw around Greysail's name and say that they were hired to explore on their behalf, possibly even see if there's any clues to the ritual to try to get the sea goddess to chill the ever-living hell out. And they will absolutely believe that, given the situation of things. With that, Sister Malagros is going to elaborate. I see. Well, I'm sorry to inform you all that without the proper ingredients to a ritual, there is no stopping Elverath. We've been able to hold back a majority of the forces that she's been sending towards Mountainfoot, but obviously we have not been perfectly successful. You'll watch as Kaya will now chime in. These things just keep getting stronger. Every other time we try to take them out, they just get bigger and more gnarly. You know, I'm always up for a challenge, but there's only so much that, you know, a paladin of 5 can really do on our own, especially when our provisions are growing a lot less every day. Ursula will speak up, and she will mention, if you've ever had to have contact with the Duke of that area, and I have to get his name again. Where is your name? Duke Heinrich. If you've had the pleasantries of meeting with Heinrich, he has been the one to send us here in the first place. He's been our foremost contact, as of sorts. We were sent here more as an investigation team, and we found ourselves in need to, well, frankly, do our duty and keep things safe. Zoe will then speak up. Yeah, it's just too bloody bad that everything just keeps trying to fucking kill us. I mean, giant skeletons, a skeleton dragon, crabs, sea monsters, walking armor. It's just it's a necropolis. It's a museum of undead things that constantly want to kill us. Sister Malagros will kind of wave their hand at Zoe to kind of signal them to calm down. And eventually Leona will be able to speak up more clearly now. It's not an ideal situation, but until we can be sure that we have the necessary ingredients, we're not going to be able to do a hell of a whole lot with what we've got available. And I'm going to say that the group is definitely going to try to sense motive. Jesse is once again going to take the lead on this. But Wander and Sari are both going to take the help action. In fact, actually, you know what? Sari's going to take the help action, and she's going to use her gather information skill. When someone in Cypher is trained in a skill, they can take a help action and lower the difficulty to someone's else to roll by 2 assets, which is different from an ease, which I'll elaborate later. But with this being a level 8 task, and I'll even say level 9, given that it's all of them, you've got from level 9 to level 7. Jesse will spend 3, 4, 2 more levels on effort, and then she has her sense motive. And you know what? She is going to use her story point, which is a meta currency in the game, where she's going to lower the difficulty down by 1 more, because she's absolutely trying to read through these people. I'm imagining, like Robert Downey Jr., Sherlock Holmes, where, like, they're looking at every little thing, every little twitch, every little, like, eye, smile, crooked. They're really going in on this. So here comes the sense motive. It's going to be a 4. Wander has a story point he can offer. Rat does not, and Sari does not. Wander would, without question, Wander would definitely... to kind of go over something. one of the factors on how we decide on whether or not to roll, given a couple of personality quirks that the other players have told me about their characters, I am basing a lot of my judgment on whether or not we need to roll based on that. So in this case, I know that Wander wants to get as much information and read the room as best as possible. If Wander had an actual player, the player would definitely say, take my story point, go ahead and try to re-roll that. We really need to read if these guys are up to up. Okay. No more story points, no more meta currency. As best as Jesse can try to read, these people are telling the truth, but it is not from a confidence, it is from a lack of an ability to read them. There's just something about these paladins that makes it very hard to sort of like pinpoint their character, their tone. They almost speak a little exaggerated, almost like the best word that Jesse can come up with is a caricature. Maybe it's just the fact that they've been away from people for so long, but they're just not quite talking correctly, and it makes it very difficult for her to get a proper read. So for now, everyone just has to take on the agreement at once. This is where I am wondering, and I'm going to roll. Rat is an adorable small baby boy. He's actually not. He's like 7 foot tall when he's not hunched over constantly. But I don't think Rat is able to read the room. So we're going to ask the dice, does Rat blurt out that we have an ingredient? 37, yes, he does. I want to ask if the group is going to try to lie again. Because they might... Yeah, okay. But is it a lie, or is it an omission of truth? Like, is this just an omission of the facts? I think this is likely. Exceptional, yes. We got a 7 on a D100. So, again, I think Jesse is going to take the lead and elaborate saying, we had an interaction with a Kraken while we were on the Admiral's ship. We fought with them and, well, we took the Kraken's skull back to the town as a trophy, and during a large celebration, we grinded the skull down for ingredients. We mostly did it because Sari wanted to try to investigate and see if there were any proper uses for that kind of material for magic spells. Which is not a lie, because that is very much what they are trying to do. So I will say, because of her skill in deception and the fact that we are being very careful with our words, Jesse is able to convince the Forsworn that they just happen to have the Kraken skull. At the very least, the Forsworn are probably having a similar situation where they can kind of tell that Jesse is lying to them, but they can't prove it. With a mutual understanding of a little bit of contempt from everyone, the Forsworn will sort of like look at them and say, well, it just so happens that the powdered skull of a Kraken is a very possible tribute for the sea goddess. Sorry. Long day at work and I'm tired. I suppose what matters most right now is whether or not you'd be willing to part with it. More importantly, if you'd be willing to assist in the setup of things. I think the group is going to feign a little bit of ignorance and kind of go, what could you possibly mean? With that, Zoe will say, well, we're not really looking to get you all into danger and putting you in more risk than you already are. Especially if you have a ship nearby. I'm sure you've got some crew that want to know what you're doing. But, we don't exactly want to trust a bunch of strangers with this one. We'd prefer if you gave us the skull and helped out where you could. The other Forsworn will nod, and this has now put the group in a bit of a predicament. they're the ones who are supposed to deal with the ritual. So, before I start asking questions, chat, once again, are there any questions you'd like to ask or put forward? What is how do you think these guys are gonna get out of this one? Are they going to give the powder to the Forsworn and try to stay out of it? Or are they gonna try to sort of like insist, no, we can be a big help? Or do you all think that there's a different question that one could ask? I'm in the mindset that I think at the very least the crew is going to try to insist that they can help and that they want to be involved in the greater situation. But they also don't fully know how powerful these paladins are, and if they're already working for Duke Heinrich... Oh! That's something. I think giving it over is reasonable, and there's no reason they can't assist on top of giving up the powder. Yeah, I'm kind of in that same mindset. Excuse me, keep coughing. I'm gonna go ahead, because I just thought of something, and I want to see if the characters figure this out too. Insisting on helping. So, let's go ahead. I think it's very likely they're gonna insist on helping. That's a 99! An exceptional no? Interesting. Okay. So the characters don't want to actually give them the powder, and they don't want to... Yeah, it is very much a no get fucked. Oh, man. Okay, they're being very defensive about this. I can imagine that Nor will try to come out and try to, like, imply... No, like, they're legit. They want to help. They've been here for so long. They kept me alive this whole time. This is... You don't have to hold everything so close to your chest. And, yeah, the group is not vibing with these paladins. What is it? I think I have an idea of what it could be. I think Rat senses something about these guys. Because Rat messes with the undead. So, let me see what skills Rat has. Alright, this is what I want to do. I am going to ask, I now want to know how the room feels right now. It is tension. It is, besides the music you hear, it's like what little creaks and cracks in the room from the wood as the wind howls outside begins to just echo into everyone's ears. Everyone's breathing very slowly, but very controlled, relaxing and tightening their muscles as if they need to be ready to jump at any second. Rat, I think it's very likely that you're going to cast a certain spell. And yes, you are. Rat is going to cast Divine Radiance. I will pop this up. You can channel Divine Influence to gain one of the following effects. Specifically, we're going to pick Turn Undead. Up to 5 undead creatures of level 2 or less within short range are blasted by Divine Radiance. Affected targets are repulsed and must spend their next turn fleeing. Effort can be spent to make 2 additional targets, or increase the maximum level of the undead you can affect by 1. I don't think Rat fully realizes how powerful that these guys are. So I'm going to say that on a whim, given the fact that we are on a necromantic island and there are paladins here, paladins who want something from the group, Rat clearly doesn't trust this. And in a rare moment of paranoia and clarity, he casts this spell, spending 2 levels of effort, which would be 2 times 4 plus 1, 5 points, plus the 1 point it costs to cast Divine Radiance. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When that doesn't work, the Forsworn immediately recognize what it is that Rat was casting. I have to roll to see. I know Malagros, Leona, and Ursula would play it cool, but I don't know if Kaya and Zoa would. So, are they gonna be able to play this cool? Yes! Yes, they are! There is this moment of silence between everyone as the Forsworn are going to try to play dumb. But immediately, Rat is going to point and say, Rat not trust you! Rat no! Like Island! You work with death! You work for undead! You're spooky! And because of that, I think Jesse one more time is going to try to sense their motive. Level 8 to start. Again, being assisted by Sari and Wander. Spending 2 more levels of effort. They are running low, but they are going for it. That's just makes it. Just fucking makes it. Jesse watches as all of them seem to look a little more tense, as she will kind of motion towards them. The smaller ones tightening their hands a little too tightly. Kaya's grabbing at her axe. Leona can't make eye contact with me. Ursula is already moving behind us to get into a proper defensive or maybe lunging position. And Sister Malagros, you haven't stopped staring daggers at us since he cast that spell. You might not be our enemies, but Rat's on the mark, isn't he? Nor has completely lost control of this situation. I actually want to ask, I don't think Nor knew about this. I think it's very impossible that she was told this. No, she does know. Oh, that. I'm going to count that as a GM intrusion. And I'm going to give everybody a story point for that. Because that is something So, GM intrusions in Cypher are a way for the GM to alter the story mid-game. And rather than do it as a way of being like, no, you totally didn't hit my monster, it's more of a way to, like, add stakes to the story. And in turn, the players get their meta currency to do rerolls and player intrusions, where they can alter the story mid-game. For now, I think all of the players are going to hold on to their newly acquired story points. As, yeah, Nor did know, and Jesse can read it on her face. Sister Malagros. I think Sister Malagros would say, you have not been entirely truthful with us either. You've been hiding details of your story carefully, enough to where I can't fully poke holes in it. But just as you claim that I've been staring daggers, you haven't stopped glaring at me either, Jesse. Attention immensely begins to fall. Wander. I want Wander to try to do something kind of interesting. I want to see if he would. He's not trained in sense motive, but I want to kind of invoke his background as a combatant. And I want to see if Wander would start to try to read the room and see just how powerful these people are. I think it's at least likely he would try. Yes, 74. He is 74 on a likely with a chaos factor of 7. He is absolutely going to try. I'm going to make this a level 5 task because it's not, like, it's not obvious that these people are powerful, so he should be able to figure this out. He's going to spend 2 levels of effort. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to let him roll athletics. Because he's trying to, like, get a read of their prowess. Alright, he's spending a story point immediately to re-roll that. He really want... Oh, that was almost a natural 20. Damn it! Okay. Wander cannot get a read on these people. Maybe it's because of that undead nature about them, but he can't quite get a good beat on just how powerful they are. It could also be the fact that, as much as Wander thinks that he's hot shit, he is not an expert. He's still a bit of a novice, and he knows it. Wander likes to praise his accomplishments, but he doesn't have so much hubris as to not want to learn and grow. I think at this point... Let's roll on the table on actions. Depart and goal. The crew at this point want to get out of the situation as quickly as possible and go back to their true mission, to do the ritual and stop this god. Because of that, however, they know that their best option to do so is to not cause too much conflict. They don't know how powerful this group is, and they're not in a good position to fight. Does the group acquiesce and try to offer the dust at this point? I'm going to say it's a 50-50 shot. No, they still are not willing to do that. They're going to hold their ground. Okay. Wander would step forward. Listen, I can't quite get a good read on you, but it seems like if what you're saying is true, and at least from what my friend's trying to signal to me is, it's in part true, everyone wants to stop this mad god from ruining Mountainfoot and causing any more problems on the seas. We can't give you the dust. Is Wander gonna tell the truth? I think at this point it's very likely. He sees no other way, I think. No, he's still not gonna tell the truth. Damn! Okay. You don't trust us, we don't trust you. No one's willing to start letting any cards fall. So maybe we can start making this a monetary thing. What can we give you as assurance that we're on the up and up? And in turn, maybe we can give something back. Make sure everyone here's got at least a little bit of an appreciation for each other's desire to make this work. I think the Forsworn, knowing they're not going to get anything out of these people, They are very agitated by this point. I think Malagros is going to take a few steps forward as we watch Kaya begin to surround Leona begrudgingly, and Zoa going around the side of the back line, kind of almost very quickly, kind of setting everyone on edge. As Malagros goes up to Wander, stares him in the face. You're not willing to tell us what we need for this. So maybe you're willing to prove with action. We're not murderers. We're oath takers. We're guardians. You're the first people we've seen here besides Noor in a long time, and from what she's told us, you're capable. Maybe we need to do a test run of that. The undead dragon. If you can kill it, or at least dispose of it for a time, then we won't hunt you down off of this island and take it from you. I think it is nearly certain that the group is going to, if not just fully certain that they would agree to these terms, because the only other option is to fight them, and these guys are not going to win. 77, yes. Oh, and a random event. Move away from the thread. Cure... oh. Interesting. Oh, no. Okay, I have to add that to my notes. Okay. Remember earlier when I mentioned that one of Rat's big accomplishments and his big goals was to try to cure the brother of an NPC? Move away from a thread, the thread being cure brother disease. We have to ask a very scary question. Did the child die? 36. Eventually, when the group gets back together, they're going to learn the harsh truth that Rat's not going to get a chance to do that. While they're gone, the brother passed suddenly, without much chance to fight back. I could ignore this because it's not relevant to the moments here, but I want to keep it because I really like when a story like this, things evolve beyond the players. Rat wanted to make it a personal goal to save that kid, but unfortunately, beyond what any mortal could do, he just didn't last. As it stands, I need to look angry. We're in serious mode. As it stands, the group has agreed that they will take on this quest. I think Sister Malagros is not going to give a time limit, but or rather, the longer you take to accomplish this, the more people are going to get hurt. So it's best you get your affairs assorted quickly. We'll be waiting for your arrival. And if you do try to escape, we'll get those ashes one way or another. And with that, I will say that The Forsworn will still allow the players to rest. As again, they are not monsters. They are just protective of their secrets and of their situations. In a way, they're trying to respect this group's predicament as best as they can. As everyone is able to rest and move on into the next day, they now have to contend and question how the hell they're going to deal with this undead dragon. To give you all an idea of what they were up against, the Forsworn, as we saw, are level 8. The undead dragon they fought was level 8. It takes almost all of a single character's points to deal with a skeletal dragon. They have to try to lower a difficulty of a 24 on a 20 into something feasible and then try to kill it. It is not something they can easily do at tier 1. And now the situation has simply just evolved where they have no other choice. Other than just trying to rush towards the ritual. They also have to deal with the fact that they were initially, when I was doing this on my own, they were dealing with the fact that they had to come to terms with the fact they would have to send off the ship that came off on their own. It's too dangerous to stay here for that ship. And their game plan is to, hell or high water, cure the curse and bring the goddess back into favor so the storms stop bombarding them. So, we're going to ask a couple more questions before the ad break hits. Making fake dust would not work, and in all honesty, that would cause a couple of uproars and issues that I don't think this group would really want to entertain. Something that happened far, far away, but nobody here knows. Yeah, exactly. It's why I didn't want to take it away. It's a fascinating addition. It's a fascinating approach, and I thought it makes for good drama. Speaking of, I need to double check that thread has been removed from the list. And then we're going to move that. With that, I guess my question now is, does the group immediately go to the ship to tell them to head out? I think it's very likely. 60 on a 7-factor chaos, yes. They are going to go, and they are going to go tell their crew what their game plan is. The crew is hesitant to want to do this, but they also don't want to die, and they're not the ones that signed up to go on a suicide mission. They were just paid and told to help get them here. Because of this, the crew will leave a handful of provisions for the group so they have something to work off of. Captain Linder, foul-mouthed, loud, bossy, rotund, sort of lizard man. He will simply look at all of them, wish them the best of luck, and tell them that once the fog has cleared, they will come sailing back immediately. Wander will try to make the captain feel at ease. Don't worry about it, Cap. We're a lot tougher than you might give us credit for, huh? Survived a kraken in a whirlpool already, right? Sorry, we'll tell him. Could be worse. Probably. Rat will just say, Rat will keep everyone healthy and fine and jerky good for soul. Jesse, are you gonna be a little sneaky sneak? Jesse is going to tell Captain Linder If I don't make it out of this, tell the Admiral they don't have to keep looking. But if we do make it out of this, I might need you to help me with something. With that, we'll take a short break as the ads will start in 1 minute. I want you guys to be able to enjoy the rest of the stream as we go on. When we come back, and after I've gotten my notes updated, we'll see if they will try to go fight the undead dragon, make a plan for that, or if they'll just try to make a beeline for the ruins. Given that, that's what they truly came here for. Thank you so far to everyone listening to me essentially talk to myself and also participating. I hope you guys are enjoying how the adventure is playing out. I hope I'm giving you guys a good idea of how this adventure will run as someone who is GMing and then asking the players questions and rolling for them. I'm having fun with this. I am more than happy to engage more with chat and do what's needed. We'll go on break really quick and come back soon. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Dark, thank you for being here and interacting. As for everyone else, I appreciate you all chilling out, enjoying the stream so far. Quite a lot of people are hanging in there, listening to me in the background, and I greatly appreciate it. This is very much the kind of situation that is just fun to put up in the back as you're doing chores or chillaxing. So I respect and appreciate everyone just chilling out and enjoying the fun. As we come back to this, we've got some important questions to ask our players. First off, are they going to try to take on the dragon? Now, there's a couple of factors in this. Wander, as much as he understands that he is not powerful enough alone to fight the dragon, man, is he adventure-lusted enough to want to try. And given, like, everything that the group has been through together, he believes if they go for it, and if everyone's heart is in it, excuse me, they can make it happen. However, he's not stupid, and he's not going to force anyone to try this option out. He's just as willing to try to take on the Forsworn 1v1, but given how he can't get a read on their power, he's also just as sort of cautious to trust that he and the group would be able to fight them. He genuinely has more of a belief that they can fight and beat the dragon. Jesse, I imagine, is very pulled and torn. There's a lot of stuff going on, and in truth, she doesn't want to fight the dragon, but maybe she believes that they can try to incapacitate it or make it slow down. The Forsworn, however, she genuinely, I know, can believe that there's no way that she's going to want to stop it. Like, she doesn't think the Forsworn can be stopped in their current state. Sorry, I'm actually not sure how she's going to react to this, because depending on stress, Sorry likes to go in many different directions, so let's see here. She is going to act irritatingly festive? Oh no, she loves this. She's into it. I can imagine that she, like, kind of calls Wander a pussy, and is just like, really? We have the chance to fight, nay, demanded to defeat an undead dragon, and you're not jumping at the bit for this? I'm a little disappointed in you. I thought you were cool. And we're just going to bait Wander immediately into be like, you know, the funny thing is, I know you're playing me. With that, Rat, I think Rat actually has a lot of confidence. Excuse me, I have to go run and get more water. I think Rat has confidence more so in fighting the dragon than the Forsworn. His spell is not going to be able to be casted on several targets. So he's like, Rat can focus healing when only one thing tried to kill friends, but multiple shiny, sharp people. That would be difficult for Rat. Rat think Rat and friends should fight dragon. Oh. Rat's not happy about it, but thinks that strategically the best option is to fight the undead dragon. So with that, everyone's pretty unanimously going to want to go for the dragon. And before what I want to have happen happens next, we're going to go ahead and test the scene. Okay, yeah, the scene's going to alter. Oh, a new object has been added. Okay, let's see where this is going to take us. Colorful and ornate. Okay. If that's the case, I think we see Nor come back. Making banana bread and drawing. Oh! You gotta tell me how the banana bread is. I have to know how that turns out later. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get some more water. There was water right next to me, thankfully. Oh, I underestimated how much yapping I would be doing in this somehow. Somehow I underestimated this. And I did not prepare myself more accurately, but that's okay. We're doing fine. Maybe I have to send you and Ryan some more baked goods this fall. Oh my god, yes. The last time you sent stuff, it was delicious. Okay. Nor's going to arrive. When she first met the party, she looked a little bit more disheveled, a little bit more, sort of worse, or wear for worse. But that's only because she didn't really clearly have the materials and the equipment. Now, I believe she's come back. She's in slightly scaled up armor. Not unfortunate, not dissimilar to the Forsworn, but clearly not magical in nature and not nearly as powerful. She, aptly has no weapons on her. When she approaches the group, I can imagine the group is exceedingly untrusting of her as she's going to plead her case. Listen, I'm sorry. All of this happened so fast. I never expected that they were going to act the way that they did. I want to get off this island, and I want to help out any way I can, especially what you did for me. She pauses. Especially what you did for us. Letting me see her one more time before it all went to hell. Above board, the ghost Mirabelle, who was, Nor's lover, got to say goodbye thanks to Wander letting them possess her. Now we carry on. It's like a comic book. It's like, this is referencing a thing from this issue. Let me help. I promise I just want to help, and I have something that might be of use. She is going to show a amulet that has a very particular ornate symbol. What looks like that of a hand with like the same sort of like crossed out note across the heart, like what you were seeing on the artwork of the Forsworn. That might have been a little too fast. Let me do that again. There you go. This is a trinket that the Forsworn, specifically Malagros, gave me. It's supposed to weaken the dragon, but very temporarily, giving you a chance to fight. I essentially asked them to let me help. And that was enough for them to let me try. I'm not as strong as any of you, definitely not as strong as the Forsworn, but I don't want this entire trip to be fully in vain. And I still owe you for letting me see the end of everything with Mallory. Not Mallory, Mirabelle, sorry. So please, let me help. Jesse immediately is going to try a sense motive. Nor is not a very powerful character, even by the book standards. I think she's like literally level 4, maybe? Yeah. So she's going to go ahead and spend 1 level of effort, spend 2 points, go for recognize motive, and she just has to beat a 6. Oh, an 8 definitely beats a 6. Nor is telling the truth. Everything she said is beyond the truth. She's not trying to hide anything. She is grateful to the crew, and she wants to do good by them. Given that the group clearly was able to recognize that she knew they were undead, there's still that lingering doubt. I think collectively everyone is unsure if they're going to accept her coming. I'm gonna let this be a 50-50. 87, even on a chaos factor, no. I think they're gonna try to persuade her to give them the amulet and for her to stay by. I think Wander specifically is even going to help whoever can do the persuasion, which might actually be any of them. Yeah, we're probably gonna have Sari do this since she's the other really big social character, because no one has persuasion at the moment. Wander will help and say, we really don't want to be risking someone else who's not really a part of our squad. We don't want another wrench in the gears of things. Please, if you could, give us the amulet. Maybe stay here, back up, set up camp for us, give us a place to retreat to, give us an opening. Sari, I think, will even specifically say, no, Wander's right. We need someone to be here to keep things protected. If things go bad and we manage to get away, we might be running for our lives. The smart move and the best move for you to gain our trust back, park it here. With that's going to be 1 assist from Wander, and she's going to use 1 level of effort. She just has to beat a 6, rolling intellect. 18, most definitely, as Nor will acquiesce and will start gathering supplies, using some of the supplies that was dropped off by the ship, as she will play guard, giving the amulet to the other 4. Oh. The dragon fight awaits. Now, they have to track it down. I don't think any of the characters are skilled in tracking. Oh, Rat's got perception. And so does Jesse. So that could work very, very well. Let's go ahead. Let me very quickly make a token for the dragon. Won't take me long. I've gotten very good at making these a little bit on the fly. They're going to be level 8. They're going to have this much armor. They're going to be able to do this much damage. And they are going to have this much health. They are a powerful fucking foe. And let me go ahead and show all of you at home what this bitch looks like. This is a powerful beastie who cannot fly for long, but they can do some major damage. To give you guys an idea of what kind of danger these characters are in, most of the time in Cypher in the new edition, a character can take 3 major wounds, and at 3 major wounds they die. This thing can do major wounds every time it attacks. That means either the characters have to regularly dodge what's coming at them, or they have to get really good at blocking. Wander's tanky. Guys, he ain't that tanky. The only one who's maybe a little tankier is Rat, who literally has armor, but even Rat's got a limit to what he can handle, so it's gonna be very difficult. I'm going to say that this is going to be an artifact, and to make this fun, we're going to make it be a 1d6, since it can be a multicast. Alright, with that, I'm going to open up. They need some way. Yeah, they really do. Let me get to the stat block of the dragon. So, this is going to be a level 10 task to find them, because the skeletal dragon is very, very sneaky. So, I'm going to say Rat's going to try to be the one to make the roll, because they have a lot of intelligence. With Jesse's help, that lowers the 10 to an 8. With effort, 1, 2, 3, 4, that lowers the 8 to a 6. And Rat has perception. Here we go. My boy! The sweet child! The sweet summer child coming in again in another world, undefeated, the Clutch King! I need you guys to understand that when my brother Cade plays Rat, he either there's no in between. It is either he is causing problems in the most adorable way possible, or he is coming in clutch. And once again, Rat, the king of clutch, has returned. As Rat is able to spot out as they are walking along the coast that there are several bones scattered across the ground. They're buried in the sand, made to look small, but he immediately calls out, "Friend, stop! Dragon here, waiting, trying ambush. Stupid trick. Rat can see it." Everyone freezes. Listen, I'm now going to change the music. Everyone freezes in place, waiting to see what else Rat can give them. He starts to follow the points of where the skeletal dragon can be. Sari calls out, "If this thing's trying to ambush us, then how come it hasn't already jumped us? Rat don't know. Maybe certain steps needed? Maybe dragon wait for friends to go further, trap us." Jesse, I think I'm gonna let Jesse just kind of make a general level 3 intellect task to see if like they can get a kind of see if they can job this a little bit. Yeah, 12. There we go. Jesse would call out, "No, Rat's right. If this thing's a predator, if this thing's an ambush tactic kind of predator, it would try to wait for us to lure closer. And if it could hear us or understand us, it would have already jumped us." Alright. So then what's the plan? If it's kind of all around us waiting for us to make the wrong move, do we walk away? Might be a chance it could try to get us when we're not looking. The group is now at a precipice. They need to figure out if they want to go ahead and start the fight here or back off. 50-50 shot. Do they back off? Yes. They know that the dragon waits for them near the village further kind of the collapsed. So they'll slowly make their way further down the coast, past the corpse of a kraken washed ashore. In fact, I bet they'll even go back and make their way to Nor, who sees them and immediately looks confused. They'll elaborate to Nor what's going on, and now they all have to think of what they want to do. The thing's waiting for them to ambush, and clearly Rat's able to have at least a better chance of catching it. In fact, I think... Does one of them stay behind to keep an eye on the skeleton? Yes! Wander, I think, is going to volunteer first. Does the group let him? Yes. So Wander's going to stay and just kind of watch the skeletons, his hands holding over his swords. Try not to keep you plotting for too long, friends. I'm feeling a little froggy. More than happy to leap at a dragon, but I don't really like my odds more than 5 minutes, yeah? So it's up to the not dumbass trio to handle this. Oh. The question is, as they leave Wander, is the dragon going to try to jump him? It is... Wait, hold on. Is that... Did that roll go through? Yes, it did. Okay, it is going to try to jump Wander. Oh, shit. Okay. So here in a little bit, Wander's absolutely getting jumped. Ooh. GM intrusion. Okay, okay. Dippy, what is the GM intrusion you want to propose? What is the twist to the narrative that you want to throw either at all of the characters or one of the characters? They're already in a very sticky predicament. So what is the story addition you'd like to add? I'll take a pause to see what you'd like to do. And if you can't think of anything, then I'll invoke the intrusion. And I think I actually have a very good one in mind, and it's going to be very bad for these characters. I'm not changing my avatar right now. They're jittering because they're just that fucking, like, ready. They're that excited. I think you should go for this one. I'm curious on your idea. I think as the group tries to walk away, the dragon is going to try to attack them. It sees the fact that they're not taking the bait, and it's not going to try to let them run. I don't think the planning trio manages to get away. I think it's time for the fight proper. Giving everyone... as this will be a group GM intrusion, another story point, meaning that several characters now have a second story point to work off of. Wander has 2. So the fight begins in earnest right here, right now. Also, apologies I hadn't noticed it before. I'm juggling a lot of things. By all means, feel free to yell at me if I miss stuff like that. Let me make the adjustments. Now, the other thing that's kind of fun about Cypher is that it's not necessary to use a game board, so like a big grid. Narrative battles are just as valid, and since this is a boss fight, we are not going to need a big map and a board to adjust this. Listen, I appreciate that you invoked the chat points. I'm super elated that we got to test that out, and it worked out very well. We'll see if the timer's maybe a little... I might lower the timer in the future, because I would like for more people to, like, intrude if they so wish. But I'm really grateful that you put that into play. with that, let me change the music one more time. As we get ready for combat. Alright. Double checking who does and doesn't have a skill in initiative. I don't think anyone does. Oh no, Sari does. So we'll roll Sari's initiative. Oh, no. That's not good. Alright, we roll everyone else's initiative. Oh, I see that I need to fiddle with the thing above there a little bit. Hold on. And now we'll mess with the image. Lower you there. Bring you a little down. There we go. Okay. Switching this to combatant. As the fight begins. The dragon, of course, gets to start first, as their initiative score to beat was 24, which the group was absolutely not going to accomplish at this time. And they would not have cared as much to do so. The dragon is going to swoop by all of them and is going to attempt to do a necrotic breath. Every one of the characters has to make a speed defense task to try to dodge out of the flames, starting with Jesse. That's level 8 that they have to try to dodge. Shit. You know what? I think Jesse... I'm going to ask the chat. Does Jesse invoke a player intrusion? Because if she does, I think there is something that she would try to do. Oh, yeah, she's definitely doing this game plan. Okay, exceptional, yes, which means I don't have to ask if she does what I think she's going to do. She's just going for it. Player intrusion, extra action, early action, because you can do that in this game. Jesse is going to take first action and activate the artifact that she got from Nor to try to lessen the power of the dragon by 2 levels. I'm going to roll a d6 to see if this then becomes depowered. Thank fuck it doesn't. If we get a 1 on a 6, that artifact breaks. So now everyone has to, for 1 round, has to deal with a level 6 attacker, not a level 8. So Jesse is going to use 2 levels of effort. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that lowers that down to 4 for a dodge. Oh! She's going to use her second story point because she does not want to suffer that. 18, okay. Jesse manages to dodge out of the flames, seeing the dragon go, swiftly throwing up the amulet, causing the dragon to buckle and shake as it manages to break through the magic cast upon it, still being affected by the effects, watching as the dragon does attack and breathe its necrotic breath, causing 1 minor wound to Jesse. As she is able to dodge, Wander is next. He's going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. $17. Wander will suffer 1 minor wound. Rat, I'm actually going to roll to see if he's going to do something, because he knows that Sari is not going to have an easy time getting ahead of that, and Rat can heal. Does Rat take the blow for Sari? Yes, he is going to take that. So, in the newer Cypher rules, if you take the attack for someone else, you just take the attack. There is no, well, actually, you know what? Hold on a second. I say that, but let me go ahead and double check the rules. Because some of these new tactics are a little bit new. I have one player in one of my home games regularly use this. So, I need to double check before I start being like, aha, I know everything. If an NPC's attack wouldn't hit another character, or would... the attack automatically sees against you and inflicts an additional minor wound. The attack automatically succeeds against you and it inflicts an additional minor wound. Once you've taken an attack this way, you can't do this again until the start of your next turn. Yep. Alright, so... Rat is going to suffer one moderate wound and then one minor wound. So, Rat's going to take that for Sorry to help get them out of this bind. With that, the dragon's turn will be over. Now, here's where this gets even more fun, gang. Because in Cypher, you can go off of standard initiative order, but if several of your teammates are back to back to back, you can also break that order. You do not have to stick with it. So in this case, the group, I think, is going to work together to try to fight the dragon. They know they can't just hit it head on, even in its weakened state, so they're going to try to weaken it further. Wander definitely wants to go for a proper attack. Jesse, I know, would be more strategic. Sorry is either up for helping with lowering its defenses or blasting it. And I think Rat is primarily going to focus on healing. So let's double check if that is going to be the case. Asking the emulator, I think it's very likely. Yes, that strategy is being accepted by the players. Here we go. Rat is going to cast Healing Hand on himself. And he's going to lower that moderate wound down to a minor wound. That way he can stay in the fight pretty solidly, no issues. With that, Sari and Jesse are going to try to open up a gap for Wander. What do we want to do here? Yeah, I think Sari is going to cast Blast as a means of psyching the dragon out. And Jesse, I think, is going to use Inspiring Suggestion. By making a helpful suggestion to an ally, they have a better chance of succeeding what they're doing. Choose an ally who can see and understand you. Give them a give them a specific action. If the ally chooses to take the action, they gain 2 assets on the task. Oh, you know what? Actually, if Jesse does that, that opens up Sorry to be able to attack. So yeah, we're definitely doing this. Jesse will cast that on to Wander. Wander's gonna fucking rush that goddamn dragon. And here we fucking go. It's level 6 to hit, and Wander automatically gets that eased. He's going to spend 1 effort to lower the difficulty. So it's going to be 1, 2. He'll take that off Might on this first attack. So now he has to beat a level 4, so he's got to beat a 12. Come on, buddy. Okay. He's going to spend his story point here. You know what? Actually, I'll ask. Will he spend his story point? Yes, he will. Okay. He wants that fucking damage. Come on. 13 manages to strike, deal 4 points of damage. As Wander does this strike, he immediately feels as his sword scrapes against the bone of the dragon, and he notices something immediately. This thing has it has defenses. It is dense. His strike is not enough. He's able to do damage, but it is pitiful amounts of damage. Wander then follows up with his short sword. His short sword will automatically make these rolls easier to a 4 anyway, so he will spend 2 levels of effort, 1, 2, 3, 4, to try and increase the damage. Come on, short sword. Oh, let's go! Wander as he strikes with the long sword, scrapes through the skeleton, takes the momentum he goes, and thrusts with his short blade, managing to hit a vital part into the skeleton's joints. Able to do not only 4 points of damage, but an additional 6, doing 10 damage at once. Minus the armor, managing to crack through some of the skeleton, making a significant wound on the dragon. However, Wander absolutely recognizes that that took everything he had, and, well, not everything he had, but it took a lot, and this is not going to go well for them. Because of that, Sari's, I think, is not going to... Will Sari just blast it? I don't think so. Nope, Sari is going to take a blast. They want to go ahead and just try to shoot this fucking thing. So, level 6. 2 levels of effort. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blast. Okay, right on the money. Able to do 4 points of damage, but again, the armor rebuffs even the magic, as they realize that without immense amount of effort, they cannot do enough damage to this dragon. It is now the dragon's turn, as the dragon is going to take a swing at Wander and a swing at Rat. Actually, no, you know what? Is the dragon just going to attack Wander? Yeah, oh, and a random event. NPC action... Oh, okay. So, okay. Jesse's gonna do something before Wander gets attacked, but what is it? I think... Okay. Jesse's gonna have to do something proactive, because the only other thing Jesse could do right now would be to take the attack, and I know for certain that that's not what Jesse would do, especially given that Wander is such a battle-lusted kind of character. But she's definitely gonna be changing her approach. She's gonna start strategizing on her turn. So now Wander would have to take some attacks from the dragon. He's gonna try to block because he doesn't have a lot of speed right now. Dodging is not in the cards for him. The best he can hope to do is lower the damage that's coming at him. So that's gonna be 2 levels of effort for this first block. 1, 2, 3, 4. 19! Okay! With a minor effect, I'm gonna say that he's able to lessen the damage profusely, lowering what would have been a major wound all the way down to a minor wound. As the dragon's claws swipe at Wander, he takes his blades and sort of makes a cross, scraping as the claws just barely manage to nick away at his face. As the dragon turns around Monster Hunter style mid-momentum, swinging his tail, I think Wander is going to... I hate to say it, but I think Wander's going to try to raw dog this with a block. He is going to fail, taking one major wound. With that, Jessie will immediately go into action. She is going to try to draw the dragon's attack. Roll, the opponent attacks you instead against an determined foe. You may have succeeded in an intellect attack. If you succeed, the foe attacks you. So this is going to succeed, and the dragon's immediately going to prioritize Jessie. What is your plan, girl? Let's find out. Is she just trying to get the dragon to start chasing her, and think of a plan as she's running? Yep, that's exactly what she's doing. 40 with a chaos factor of 7. She is winging the fuck out of this. With that, I think, sorry, are you gonna follow to back her up? Yes. Rat, are you going to go over to heal Wander? I think this is very likely. Yes. Wander will lessen, or Rat will lessen the wound of Wander's down from a major wound to a moderate wound, making this a little more sufferable for our boy. As the dragon is actively chasing them. Jessie will activate the artifact before the turn is over, however. Okay, and we're still in business as the dragon is weakened by the artifact. With that, it'll be round 3. As the dragon is going to try to swipe twice at Jessie. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, Jessie's gonna dodge one. Hold on. Will Jessie dodge or block? Will Jessie dodge? She's gonna try to dodge both. Exceptional, yes. Blocking is not in her repertoire. She's not even gonna bother. So that's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Jesus Christ, girl, you are trying. Okay. Making this level 4. So 1. Oh my god! Another 19! Holy shit! Holy shit! That is so terrifying. Okay, her minor effect is that while the creature is, trying to slice at them, I imagine she's, using the rocks around some of the area. Heading, are you heading towards the mountains? Yes, you are heading upward towards these mountains, trying to squeeze your way in between all of the nooks and crannies so the dragon cannot reach you as you start rushing towards there. Giving 1 asset, making this a level 3, making it a 9 for the next dodge. 12! Jessie manages to dodge another as the skeletal dragon goes to chomp down on her, catching its teeth in the middle of the cliffside. With that, Jessie will be more over here, and the dragon will be more over here. Sorry. You're obviously giving chase. Oh, okay. What are you gonna do, girl? What is your plan here? We're gonna roll on an action meaning table, because I actively have no clue what Sorry could be doing right now. Break vehicle. That is not useful. So, well, hold on. Break vehicle. No, that is not going to be helpful here, so we're going to try that again. Failure inquire? Nope, that's also not going to be helpful. Okay, even the game doesn't know what we need to be doing here. All right. Sareen knows she can't do a lot of damage. Would she instead try to take Jesse's lead and start shooting at the rubble to mess with the dragon? I think this is likely. Yes, okay. Now, I think the problem here is that if Sari does this, Jesse would get caught in the crossfire. So, Sari is going to use one story point and is going to hold her action, and the story point is going to be spent on a player intrusion. That player intrusion is, as soon as Jessie manages to get enough of a distance away, she's going to start shooting at where the dragon's limbs are, like what rock faces they're on, and try to blast them away. I think it is only fair to make this a level 4 task, and I will make her use effort. So she's got to beat a 9 on a 20. Just meets it. Okay. So the dragon stumbles, becoming prone, giving an opening for Jesse to get further away. I think Wander and Rat are obviously going to give chase. No. Well, I'm not going to leave that up to the dice. It only makes sense that Wander and Rat would give chase. They're going to want to try to back up their friends. Wander, I think, is not going to attack, but he is going to make most of his time to, like, position himself between the dragon and Sari to try some kind of barrier. Outside of that, it would have taken their entire action to catch up. The dragon looks around and I think sees 2 targets and is going to try to do that fire blast again. That is going to be, because of lowering it down by 2 levels because of the artifact, that'll be a level 5. Wander will spend 1 level of effort. Come on, buddy, you got this. He's not going to ask for a story point. I know he wouldn't. It sucks that he got hit by this, but it's not killing him yet. It only brings a moderate wound. It's fine. Sari, on the other hand, absolutely spending 2 levels of effort. Making this a level 2, so wins on a 6. Okay, she manages to dodge out of the way, only taking a minor wound instead. Just slightly singed. All right, Jesse. What's your game plan, girl? You ran to the rocks for a reason, to put this thing in a bad position. Are you trying to bring it to a cave? Yes. You're trying to bring it to a cave or a cavern or something to squeeze it into. Something to where it would be hard for it to get into. Are you going to try to bait the monster further? Yes, you're going to try to keep leading it in. How are you going to do that? I think you're just going to try to give a general intelligence task to try to get it to follow you. And in fact, I'll allow sense motive in this because what she's trying to do is kind of clock the creature's behavior and try to get it to literally chase her, chase after her. So that's gonna be 1, 2. Oh, also she's gonna activate that fucking artifact. She's absolutely making sure that's gonna still be a thing. Alright, we're still good. She wants to make this as easy on herself as she possibly can. Okay, just makes it. Jesse would notice that the dragon seems to be really active towards the movement, specifically the movement that is the most nearest to it. Because of that, she's going to just throw herself back and forth trying to get the dragon's attention. Once again, drawing the attack, managing to do so immensely as the dragon will continue to chase after her. At that end, sorry, are you privy enough? You are not privy enough to get what she's doing. So I want to see if you're smart enough. We're going to let you do a gather information, a level 4... And I think you're going to try to roll the bones as is. 12 makes it. Sari watches as Jessie throws herself back and forth, continuing to bait the undead dragon to continue climbing up after them. As Sari watches, she has a moment. She clicks together and realizes Jessie's strategy. She looks over Wander and Rat and simply says, kick out from under its feet. Don't worry about hitting it, just keep it from moving. Wander and Rat, I don't think are going to have any objections to this. Because there is clearly a plan now. As, Sari is going to hold her turn to cast Blast. As Wander and Rat are going to try to kick out from under this thing's feet. I'm going to say they're aiming at the rocks and the rubble under the feet. They're not particularly trying to damage the dragon. So again, we'll make this level 4. Wander is going to try to attack the rock face nearby. Bada bing. 11 absolutely makes it. Goes for a second slice. Oh, yeah. Oh, also to be clear, the reason why Wander can double slice is because of one of his abilities for dual wield. It's a bonus for being a twin fang, aka a dual wield swordsman. To make that very clear for the VOD later. With that, Rat is going to try to take his chance at this. He's going to use a little bit of effort because he's not as, like, well-versed in his mace. That is... No, that will hit. I forgot to adjust because of his effort. That will actually hit as he cracks at the rock under it, causing the dragon to remain prone and giving Sari the opening she needs. The dragon in its weakened state is level 6. I'm going to say this is a 2 asset thanks to kicking out from under its feet. And then Sari is going to spend 1 level of effort to lower the difficulty of this task. And is going to spend 1 level of effort to make this blast very powerful. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here we fucking... Oop, wrong button. Go! Alright, 3's not going to cut it. She's using her story point that we got earlier from that intrusion. A 13 will do just fine. Give me 1 second to look up something. I have to double check what the essential... Here we are, hazard table. A huge crush would do 6 points of damage. Okay. And I'm going to say that armor is not going to be protected in this case. And given that she used her effort to do extra damage, we are able to do 9 points of damage to the dragon as the rocks begin to clamor and crush on top of the skeletal dragon. This seems to be the strategy. Consistency in all ways of this approach. They're getting more tired. The players are running out of points. They are in a dire situation, but they have an out. With that, we go into the next round as the dragon, even when prone, is going to try to climb upwards above the rubble and take bites out of Jessie. Jessie is going to try to dodge. She has to just dodge raw because she doesn't have enough. That's going to be one failure. Oh! Okay. As the dragon leaps up at Jessie, she takes one solid scrape across her chest, across her abdomen. As the skeleton dragon manages to get a shot, its jaws open up to come in and chomp down on her as she just manages to squirm her way out of the jaws of the dragon. It's on top of the actual rock face at this point. Higher up, elevated, a little harder to reach at. Oh, God. Okay. Wander seeing this happen to Jessie, he doesn't want to just leave her at bay. Wander, are you going to try to swap places with Jessie? I'm going to let this be 50-50. Yes. Wander is going to use his ability Fleet of Foot. On this turn, you can move up to a short distance, or 50 feet, as an extra action. On this turn, you can move up to a long distance as an extra action instead of just a short distance. He is going to use Fleet of Foot to jump up in front of Jessie and basically tag her out. Meaning on her turn, Jessie can try to get away, maybe possibly to Rat. Is Rat also going to try to climb up? He is. Is Sari gonna try to tell him to stop? She is. Sari reaches out to Rat and says, "No, Rat, let Jessie come to you. Wander needs to focus on the dragon, and I need you to help keep this thing at bay." Is Rat going to listen? And here's the problem. Rat is a brilliant, brilliant kid, but he's also very emotionally driven. I think it is unlikely outside of the chaos factor he's gonna listen outright. But he does, in fact, hear her. 16 with a chaos factor of 7. He hears what Sari is saying, and with a little murmur of annoyance / fear, he nods and focuses on swinging at the dragon in a little moment. To keep the dragon occupied on him, Wander is leaning into going hog ham and is going for his strike. He might not be able to do both attacks, though, now. Yeah, he already spent his extra action to move up, so he's going to try and take a stab with the short sword, and is going to dip one level of effort into the extra damage, because he believes he can hit this thing. Yes, he fucking can with a 16! Let's go! Even with the dragon's armor, that's still going to be a chunk, a little chip amount of damage. But I can definitely say the dragon has justification to focus on Wander now. With that, Rat is going to take another swing at the rocks, spending 2 effort to lower the difficulty from a level 4 to a level 2. $11 will make it. And with that, Sari gets another chance to shoot at the rocks. The dragon is weakened. 2 levels of effort. This is kind of the last that she can do this on. 1, 2, and then 1 asset from Rat. Come on. 16. Another 9 points of damage. The undead dragon is properly being affected by this. They're really running out of points at this juncture. Rat's got some story points. Wander doesn't have any. And Jesse doesn't have any. Rat, are you going to invoke a story point? Because if you do, he's not. He's going to hold on to it because he doesn't. Rat's not thinking about this in a way that I would, so unfortunately he's holding on to his meta currency. Instead, it'll be the dragon's turn once more, as it is going to focus on beating the piss out of Wander. Okay. Wander will spend all of his might to try to block the oncoming attacks. So he has to beat level 4 twice. Oh, that's 1. Oh, baby, that's 2. Bringing up his dual blades, managing to take bruises as he's being stricken. Struck, bite, as he manages to not suffer more than 2 moderate wounds. Everyone, this is where things start to get really bad for Wander. If he gets any more moderate wounds, they immediately become major. He does not have a buffer anymore. Even if he blocks, he's taking deadly damage. This is getting intense. But with that, we have to take another short break because the ad break is going to be coming. So we're going. Well, you know what? We're gonna go a little bit further before the ad break hits. But the ad break is gonna hit us in about 3 minutes. So we'll try to get past this next round. Jesse is going to run over to Rat. Rat is absolutely going to lessen the wound on her, making that major wound, in fact, a moderate one, meaning that she can swap out with Wander after. She's going to use the amulet. Okay, the amulet's still in play. Oh, sorry. What are you going to do? I think we're going to have to roll to see what she does. Do something extravagant. Something extravagant. What would be extravagant for Sari at this point? I think I have something. Sari, are you gonna try to send a signal to the Forsworn? No, you're not. Are you gonna try to signal Nor? Okay. I would say with an exceptional yes, because we got a 5 on that, Rat will allow Sari to borrow his story point, and Sari is going to spend the last of her magic and send a firework shooting up into the sky, signaling Nor that backup is needed. And with that, we are on to the next round. Oh, we are on round 7, people. This fight got zesty real quick. But we'll go ahead and take a short break. The ad breaks are going to start here in about a minute, and I don't want to get too lost in this. When we come back, we will end this encounter. Hopefully no one dies. Hopefully Nor is able to get there in time to back the crew up. They are so very close to killing the skeleton dragon and achieving what the Forsworn had them set out to do. But they're all so weak. They have so little resource points left. It is gonna be nail-biting in this end.
What?
With that, ads should be over, and we can get to the finale of this fight. Okay. Top of the new order. Well, actually, no, the dragon just went and they just barely survived. Jesse did some stuff. Jesse got healed. Sorry, signal. No, so it is the top of the order that the dragon's gonna go again. The dragon could fire breath them, but honestly, I think the dragon is fully aware that it's got Wander on the ropes, so let's roll. Does the dragon go for Wander? No! Okay, so the dragon's actually going to turn to Jesse and Rat and is going to try to Necroblast them since they haven't done that in a sec. Jesse is going to activate the amulet again, make sure that this thing stays as weak as possible. Good, we're still good. She is going to use one level of effort to make this easier on herself, but she still has to beat a 15. Oh my god! Natural Jesse! What is the Jesus? Okay, she gets her points back. She manages to dodge out of the way. I think she's gonna jump, dodge, and push Rat out of the way. That's gonna be her major effect. It's gonna be her free player intrusion that she gets Rat immediately out of the way of the blast. This opens up a lot of opportunity for these guys. First of all, does Nor get here? It's exceptional, yes. Oh my god. She didn't leave. She was always behind. She was never that far behind. Girl was waiting for the signal as she rushes in. Let me get your stats really quick, Nor. What the fuck can you do, girl? Okay. You know what? I think Nor is going to assist in attacking this thing, giving Wander the openings and the assets he needs. Rat is going to try to do something very risky, but possibly very plausible. He's going to ask Jesse and ask Sorry to help with this. He has a story point. Okay. Rat, are you going to push yourself to the brink to do this? Yes, he fucking is. Okay. Rat is going to spend a story point. And he's going to spend a level of effort. He's going to break the rules of the game briefly. He's going to player intrusion, and he is going to invoke the power of Divine Radiance, the power he gets at tier 3. I've done this at my tables before, where if somebody wants to invoke the stronger version of their power, it is going to cost them at least one level of effort to cast this. He's going to do that. Instead of causing affected targets to flee, you can make them unable to take actions for one turn. Rat is going to try to paralyze the dragon. It is going to be a level 6 task. Sari is going to help with this, giving him as much energy as he can. Jesse, I don't think can help at all in this. So Sari lowers the difficulty by 1, making this a level 5. And I think Rat's going to spend his other effort, so 1, 2, 3, 4, to make this easier on himself, so he's got to beat a 12. And there's no more story points. Come on, buddy. Come on. Ah. 3. Rat tries to summon the magic within him, tries to push it forward, and just can't get it to work. Alright, with that, then, it is up to Nor and it's up to Wander to try to fight this thing. I think Jesse is once again going to cast Inspiring Suggestion, giving Wander 2 assets, and Nor will be 1 ease as they get in, making this from level 6 to level 3. Alright, Wander's gonna risk it all. He's gonna spend all 4 points. He's gonna spend 1 level of effort on his first attack to increase the damage. Goes for the swing. Oh my god, no. Wander, no. God. Oh, my boy's fucked. My boy is so fucked. Okay. Alright, Nor, are you gonna try to prevent what's about to happen? Yes. Okay. Wander goes to strike at the dragon and doesn't realize his footing is so close to the edge, losing himself in the fight, beginning to slip. Nor manages to grab onto Wander's back and throwing him backwards, able to get him on his footing, but she falls into the dragon's grasp as it clutches, claws, and throws her down, knocking her out of the fight. Enraged, Wander is going to go for his short sword strike and increase its damage. He loses that help from Nor, but he might still be able to make this work. 18! Let's go! Okay. So he gets 4 damage natural. He gets 2 damage naturally, 4 damage total with the extra 2 points, and with an additional 5 points can do 7 points of damage. It's not going to be enough. This thing is also near its last legs, but they're having such a hard time. Fuck. Okay, this is where it goes into the next round. The dragon is going to try to swing at Wander 2 more times, and he's going to try to block. He's got nothing left. He's spent, so he's got a dry roll against level 6. That's a failure. And that is a failure. Wander takes 2 major wounds. 1 more hit, and he's gone. Rat is going to panic like fucking crazy. We've already established that he can use his ability. He's going to try to use it naturally. Jesse will activate the artifact. Still good in play. And he is going to spend 2 levels of... This might not work still.
I'm going to bed.
Love you, baby.
Love you too. Have fun on your stream.
We might die. Everyone's dying.
Don't do that.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for the advice.
You're welcome.
Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. This is not looking good. I feel like the only thing Rat could do in this moment is try to attempt to get the dragon to fuck off. Even just for a moment. Because he doesn't have the ability to do any real damage right now. So, Rat, are you going to try to make this thing run away? Yes, you are. Okay. Rat is going to get help from Sorry. Lowering the difficulty down. I don't think he can do this is the problem. It starts at level 2. Even if he spends 2 levels of effort. It's not going to be enough. Alright. Rat can't do that. So, Rat, are you just going to try to run to Wander? No, because you can't climb up fast enough. Will Jesse try to run to Wander's aid? Oh! Oh! Something's happening. A random event. Jesse is going to do that. And I think she's going to notice something. Move toward a thread. Oh, hold on. What could that mean? So the random event we got on the table is move toward a thread. The thread being Mountainfoot, aka the town that they were protecting. Something about Mountainfoot is what the group is moving towards. Out of desperation... Does Jesse... They would have brought the jar with them. Is Jesse gonna throw the Kraken dust? Yeah. Yeah, she is. And I think out of desperation, she does that. And it is going to do 6 points of damage past the armor as it bakes into the skin, the skeleton of the undead dragon. I actually need to see if she can hit this thing. Oh, girl, you're going to be trying your best. You are using both levels of effort. Level 6, making this a level 4. Come on, girl. Okay, she does hit. She does deal the damage. The skeleton dragon begins to burn away from all of that's happening. And in that moment, I think at that point, Rat undeniably is going to try to rush up to Wander and try to heal at least one of his major wounds. He almost can't do this anymore. This does help Wander, as he is now going to take the defensive action, making his dodging and blocking much easier. The dragon's still up there. I think so. Sorry, he can't. She doesn't have a lot. Alright. She can't do that either. These guys are running out of options, man. She's gonna try something really stupid. Are you gonna try to use this Cypher? Sorry. She is. She is gonna use a Cypher called Knockout. She needs to make a successful attack against it first. So she's gonna spend 2 levels of effort. And gonna try to beat a 12. Or on the next round, the dragon is... I'm actually going to see if the... The dragon is hurt. All 4 of them are hurt. And now it's got this... the ritual dust on it that is actively burning it. I'm going to push into the very unlikely category, but I want to see if the dragon's going to fly away. Because it is now in danger. It is. It is going to take this moment to try to escape. Will the group let it? Yes. They can't win. They can't fight this thing. Everyone here is being overstricken, and the creature doesn't have a lot of HP left. It doesn't know what these guys are capable of, and it's having itself be burned away by that ritual. So the dragon is going to escape, ending the encounter as everyone comes to an unceremonious rest. Holy crap. They go over to Nor and check that she is still alive, which she is. She was able to take a little bit more damage than that. Everyone gathers up, heads back to the coast where their supplies are, and have to come to a sad realization that not only in a desperate move have they lost something very necessary to save the town, but they are not strong enough to fight the dragon. And now they don't have a way to get off the island, as they told the ship it was either hell or high water. Unfortunately, I think this is a good spot to stop the session, as the characters will need time to rest, regroup, and reconsider their plans, having just barely survived the encounter, and on a fluke, no less. The next time that they would encounter the undead dragon might not be a smooth fight. The only reason they got away this time was purely because of the very item they were going to use to keep the dragon, well, to keep the island at bay. With everything that they've learned and experienced, I'm going to give each of the characters 2 experience points. 1 for managing to survive their encounter with the dragon. Actually, no, I gotta be mean. I will give them 1 experience point for surviving the dragon. But outside of that, they haven't really made any major discoveries. They didn't learn the truth about the Forsworn. They just got really lucky. It's, on one hand, a little sad that we have to end this session on a much more sour note, but on the other hand, the other option was them outright dying. I got very wrapped up into letting the dice decide what happens this time around. In the future, do not be surprised if I am a lot more hands-on in combat with, like, hey, this is how this is going to go. The dragon is not going to run. But I also like that the dice kind of help dictate how much my own plans can change. I think a good chunk of this was a good mixture to show off when I, as the GM, am going to say, yes, this happens no matter what, and when I ask when the players or the characters will do certain things. And I hope thanks to things like Dippy, Dark, and others testing out some of the systems on how to do, you guys have also gotten a taste of what it's going to be like for you guys to interact with the storyline and to get involved in it, to even suggest some things. For now, we'll leave the tides of change broken, battered, and running out of options. And next week when we come back, they will have to take time to recover and possibly swallow their pride, asking for the help of the Forsworn. Because now they have very few allies left, and one of the few that they had already almost perished to save Wander, who I will note definitely has a guilty chip on their shoulder. Thank you all for joining me tonight, if indeed you still are, and let me take a look if any of my buddies are streaming. And we, in fact, have a couple of people. Let's go ahead and throw you guys at Myhan. They are playing Blue Protocol. This is a voice actor and a VTuber. They are cool people. They've also got a little PNG tuber thing going on. So please enjoy their time. Give them a shout out. Let them know that Basil sent you. But it is late. I understand if everyone needs to go to bed. All the same, again, thank you all for being here for this experimental concept. I had a lot of fun. I'm very satisfied with how things went. I'll make some tweaks, and I hope this is something that you guys would like to see in the future going forward and would like to either listen in the back or interact with. Good night, my fellow adventurers, and that will be the end of session. Okay, sure, thanks. Fucking, that's, hold on. The raid didn't work. Because this thing hates me. Yay! There it goes. I need to work on a proper outro thing later. But there you go. And here I go.